Hi guys, another way that we can visualize our data is to place it on a map. And if we take a look at our koala base, you can see that we do have data on latitude and longitude. With that in mind, we can go to something like MyMaps, which Google provides, and we can place on the map the location where our koalas were found. So let's go through that process. So here is my data set. Now the first thing that I want to do is I want to take some data out from this. Be careful doing this because you don't want to lose any data. So we're going to take some of our data from our data set and place it in a new data set or a new spreadsheet. The data that I want us to grab is latitude, longitude, koala suburb, koala postcode, and koala local government authority. Now to choose all of those, I'm going to click latitude, press the control button, keep it down and choose the others with the control button pressed. So I've got those 5. Now I'm going to right click and just choose copy, and then I'm going to create a new blank workbook and I'm going to press paste, and you can see that just that data's come across. That's what I'm after. Now that I have this new data set, I'm going to save it. Now I'm just going to save it on my desktop. You may have another location where you need to save it. So I'm just going to save it on my PC, on my desktop, and I'm going to call it koala map. I've saved it, and that's the one that I'm going to be working with. Now that I have this, the next stage is for me to go into a web browser and I'm going to create a new tab, and I'm going to just type in MyMaps, and MyMaps Google is fine, and I'm going to click the first entry that comes up. So because I have a Google account, I can create a new map. If you don't have a Google account, you'll need to create one. If you have a Gmail account, that'll work, and you just need to make sure that you've logged into that account using your Google login. Perhaps your school login doubles as your Google login. Your teacher will know if that's the case. So I'm going to click on create a new map, and when I do that, it brings up a map of Australia, very nice, and here it asks me to import data from a CSV file, a spreadsheet, and so on. So I'm going to select a file from my device. I saved it in desktop and it was called koala map. So I'm going to choose that one. It says the file's already in use, enter a new name or close the file that's already open. So let me just go into koala map and close it. And now that I've closed it, I can try that process again. So under desktop, koala map, open that. You can see that the file is uploading. So it's taking all of those records and it is taking some of them, and we'll get to that in a moment. It asks choose columns to position your place marks. So the columns are things such as addresses or latitude longitude pairs. So latitude and longitude are what I'm going to choose. And then choose a column to title your markers. Now I'm going to title my markers with the suburb. So you'll see how that looks in a moment. Then when I click finish, it will go ahead. As you can see, it's saying loading. It's populating the map with the latitude and longitude details that I've provided in the spreadsheet. As you can see, it says all items 2000. Now that's because MyMaps, the Google app that allows me to plot these points, only allows 2000 items. So it's only taking the first 2000 of our almost 40,000 records, but that will still give us a fair idea of whereabouts these koalas have come from. If I zoom out a little bit, you'll see that they are all concentrated in the area around between the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast and out as far as Toowoomba. And if I zoom into a particular area, as you can see to the east of Brisbane, there are huge numbers there compared to in the west, which is a little less populated as far as koalas being injured goes. So that's my data being plotted. If I click on one of the pins, you can see that it gives the name of the suburb as the title, and it gives the latitude, longitude, what postcode it is, and the regional council who is looking after that particular part of the Brisbane greater area. If I click here, it'll give me a different suburb, same regional council. Click a different one, you can see that's Brisbane City Council. What I can also do is if I zoom in on a particular area, this is of interest to me. So if I zoom in on this area here and I change my base map to a satellite image, you can see that a number of these koalas are all along this main arterial road. You can see that there's a number of koalas injured along this arterial road as well. So perhaps one of the reasons why the koalas are being taken to hospital is because they're being hit by vehicles while trying to cross these major roads. So this is another nice way to visualize my data, and it makes the data set more powerful because now I can get some idea of where the data is in relation to major roads and those sorts of things. Build up areas where there's lots of parklands where you would expect the koalas to be. And it's also powerful because it indicates fairly clearly that there is a large number of koalas being injured just to the south of the city, also to the north of the city and less to the west, which to me is surprising. But again, when we're using large data sets, the whole idea of being able to interrogate them is that they will start to provide us with information that we may not necessarily expect. Go ahead and try and create something similar to this. Remember, you need to have a Google account, and I'll talk to you in the next tutorial, and in that tutorial we'll take a look at how to create heat maps using the same sort of data. So don't throw away the new spreadsheet you've created, which just has the latitude, longitude, suburb and so on, because we'll be using it next time. Talk to you then.